Hey there folks, I am RJB from RJBTV and welcome back to Hyuk, Gensay, M0ng, and Hiya Lucky and Force in a 3v3 on the fastest map we had. In the previous video, the previous game, the very first game between these two teams, and we're gonna do red versus blue because we have different races for everyone, which allows us to do red versus blue without any confusion whatsoever. So first, let me reintroduce some of the professional players here and some of the fastest map Gosus that we have here on the board today. We have M0ng, professional Terran, had some success, has some tournament wins under his belt here on the red Terran on the bottom right of the map, and right next to him is Gensay, a currently in prison, maybe already out of prison, fastest map streamer. He was extremely good, but I don't think we'll be seeing him return to fastest map ever again, given that he went to prison, and I don't know how long he's in for. He might be out, might still be in there, but it might be a while before we see him back, and then maybe people don't want him to return. So yeah, he's here on the Blue Protoss. He was one of the best players in fastest map history in 2v2, 3v3, and 1v1. Then we have Hyuk, a former professional player who used to have a lot of success in the Kespa era from 2008 to 2012, but has since kind of struggled to keep up with the level of all the others. But he's known as being one of the fastest players, if not the fastest player in StarCraft history. Then we have on the top here M0ng. Oh wait, no, this is Force, also a former professional player. A lot of former professional players on the board here today. He is here on the top left of the map as the Blue Zerg. Then we have the Blue Terran, Blue Protoss Lucky Back, a retired fastest player who used to be in the top 5 of all the fastest players in the world for many years in a row, and then gave up. He just decided to quit. He no longer enjoyed playing the game, because what he wanted to do was play 2v2 and 3v3 with other streamers, other top level players, and we just noticed that it wasn't happening as often anymore. He didn't enjoy playing public games as much as he did playing these high level games. He enjoyed this the most. Then here we have M0ng, also known as Hiya, very strong Terran player, has been a professional player since like 2007, still a professional player, extremely good here on the Terran. So we have the Zerglings out on the map as all the Zerg players went for a 9 pull into a hatchery into Zergling speed build order, and they are on double hatchery at the moment. He's on triple hatchery now because he didn't build a sunken, whereas this guy also didn't build a sunken. So yeah, there's early Zergling play there from the Zergs. That is the standard because you want to have presence on the map as early as you can at these very high level games, because otherwise one of the two teams is going to lose control over the middle. So they fight for control over the middle with Zerglings and Marines, and of course Vultures right after. So yeah, Hiya there tried to block on M0ng, but the block seems to not be succeeding as well as they would have liked to, as they bring over another SCV to complete the bunker. Once they get the bunker finished up, they will have control over this entrance, which will lock M0ng into his base. It will lock M0ng into his base. That is why having Zerglings early is so important. If your Terran gets blocked like this, when they're going for Vultures, they cannot leave their base, because Vultures are terrible against structure. They cannot break through. They cannot break through at all. So right now they have M0ng eliminated from the middle of the map. He now has to go for something else. He's got to go for a very fast machine shop, whereas Hiya here slowed down his machine shop, slowed down his 4th factory because he had to build a bunker, sent over a 2nd Marine, had to build another supply depot here as well to plug up the hole that is the wall to keep M0ng from entering the middle. So now Team Blue can focus on maybe trying to eliminate Hyuk here, who is kind of isolated, but he is right next to Gensay. But Gensay has to first fight through the Zealots and the Zerglings, which are trying to keep him from helping Hyuk. But Hyuk has a large army of Zerglings there to protect himself, and he's got Sunkas in the back, all the way in the back, so that he can block the enemies from attacking the Sunkens when he does get attacked, maximizing the efficiency of his base layout. But as a result, he only has 4 drones, whereas Force has 9 of them. They're in the middle, they're joining up. We have speed on the way there for Hiya. Goes for speed first and then mines. The speed is more important because the speed helps you micro against the Zealots. Gensay has 1 cannon in the back, but he's going to protect the cannon like his life depends on it, because it does. He's gonna get one more cannon as the side requires a forge. He's gonna go for Dragoons, I hope, because Dragoons are awesome against Zealots and Vultures. Not that awesome against Zerglings though, but they are awesome against Vultures, and that's what matters most, because as you can see, these Zealots, they do not do anything. But here we have a very big Vulture army from M0ng. He went for fast machine shop into, I think, mine. Well, he went for... I'm not sure if he went for siege mode or for Vulture speed first. He has a tank, so the tanks are here to help him break through the wall, because Vultures are terrible at breaking through the wall. He just finished mines as well. We got mines on the way there for Hiya as well. They're going for a push on to Gensay. They're going to try to leverage their army size over Team Red while they can before this enters the middle of the map, because these tanks are deal breakers. Also, the mines are finished there for M0ng, so placing mines in the middle will definitely get him control over the middle section, and having his tanks out faster than Hiya, who invested into the early supply depot there in the block and the bunker for the block. He is behind on M0ng for sure. You can see it in supply. M0ng has 80 supply, Hiya has 56. So now we might be seeing a swing around where the blue team starts losing the advantage they had early on because they invested so much money into trying to contain M0ng and trying to prevent him from entering the middle of the map. As you can see, because they managed to break free because of some very quick adaptations from M0ng and from Gensay, they're now pushing back and taking control in the supply. The supply difference is now greatly in favor of Team Red. And they managed to set up tanks on the middle right before the other team can. There's some defensive mines there from Hiya. These are mines from Hiya to keep the Dragoons and tanks away from pushing into his base. Also, they don't have vision at the moment, no detection, so they have to wait until they have scan or overlords on location. We do not see the overlords moving. We might see an observatory coming out there from Gensay. Yes, observatory is on the way. Of course, first the robotics, then the observatory. Also getting 4 more gateways. 4 more gateways means he's probably not going to go for drops anytime soon. He just wants to get observers to leverage their army advantage over Team Blue to then eliminate one of these blue players. But here we have Force. Force did not contribute a lot of Zerglings to the middle of the map, because he wanted to go for more economy, down 22 drones, compared to Hyuk with 8 drones. So they paid for this. Like, they lost middle control because he had so few Zerglings, but what they gained is a very fast Spire. Bigger Zerg, so more economy and a faster Spire. And with the Spire, they can take out most of the Vultures, Zerglings, and the tanks, or just go straight for Hyuk's base and eliminate him from the game altogether, or maybe trying to do some damage here onto Gensay. But most likely scenario is they will take out Hyuk, because he has vision there with his Overlord. Now they're going to try to get as much control and damage down as they can before the Mutalisks from Force come into play. They have to do as much as they can. We got the mines in the middle there to keep these Dragoons contained, but there's an Overlord. They're giving vision from Force on these mines, but they can't really move out as easily as they want to, because as soon as Luckyback will move out, Dragoons and Zerglings from his enemies will try to surround his Dragoons, and then he loses most of his army without really being able to do too much. But here we have the Mutalisks on the way from Force. We have the tanks pushing. We have 2 tanks from Hiya being dropped in Force's base to help him push those tanks away from his main. Now we have the Mutalisks out on the map. Dragoons are moving. They all have to go towards... Although they're retreating, actually. They're retreating from Force's base. Vultures are actually blocking the Dragoons. Dragoons are going all in, but the tanks in the back there might keep them alive. And now we have, because they are moving into Force's base, Luckyback can now flank these Dragoons from behind, while the tanks of the high ground are doing some damage as they're passing through. This game is super duper intense. Let me zoom in a little bit. We have this Zergling and Vulture army trying to regain control over the hill to keep Luckyback contained, while these Zealots and Dragoons from Gensay are pushing in onto Force, while Hyuk is still only making Zerglings. More tanks coming in there from Hiya. It's at 2 dropships. 2 drops are returning around there, though, because he notices that these Dragoons from Gensay are dying very quickly. The tanks in the back, the Sunklings and the Vultures, and I mean the Mutalisks helped kill the Dragoons, but now they're pushing in onto Lucky, who needs tanks desperately. He's being overpowered. Tanks are high ground there from Hiya. The dropships are returning back home to try and pick up more tanks. He's got 3 dropships now. He's got Vultures there waiting in the front. This is a huge army pushing in on Lucky. Can Lucky survive here? I don't think so, because the Vultures are in the back on top of the cannon. Cannon goes down, but the probes have free firing on all the probes. Probes will die very quick, because that's like 20 Vultures in the back killing probes. A lot of probes already died now. It's moving to the front side there, but the front side is also completely covered by enemy units. Looks like Luckyback will in the end die. That's the price they paid for trying to get control early, but losing control early while investing a lot of minerals into trying to contain M0ng. Losing all those minerals without really doing much damage, or effectively wasting the minerals by trying to block him. They fell behind too much. That's something that happens if you try to invest a lot into early mid-game control or middle control. When you lose the control, you fall behind. As you can see right here, the supply lead is definitely in favor of Team Red, even though Hyuk is very small. Oh wait, big drop there onto M0ng. Loses no SCVs. SCVs are still alive because the SCVs moved into the tanks where the tanks cannot hit them. So yeah, Hiya did a really good move. But sadly does not really do a lot of damage. Supply counts are still pretty much the same here on the top side though. Lucky Back has somewhat survived. This Nexus is almost dead and gone, and now gonna go straight for the Nexus while there's only Mulus to help him defend. So we're gonna stop at the Nexus. Zealous on top of the Nexus. Nexus goes down. He has some money for a new Nexus, but he's now losing probes as well. And the sad part is the Mulus actually also damage ally units with their glaive bounces. So while the Mulus do save Lucky Back, they also contributed to his downfall just a tiny little bit. So Hiya puts new tanks to the high ground. They're trying to regain control over the northern side. I really like that this is a top versus bottom. It gives these teams so much more technical control over their respective side of the map. We have an anti-dropship army set up here to keep M0ng from taking damage from Hiya. Hiya has done a really good job so far. He is now currently the biggest player on the map. Together with Gensay, who's on 152, Hiya on 134, but I would say that Hiya's units are a little bit stronger. But Hiya's units do face the threat of... Actually, tries to go in. Mulus there in the sky from Force. Force is a really strong force of Mutalisks. You got the dropships there from Hiya going straight. Nope, they're turning around. They're not sure where to go. They unload inside of Gensay's base. Vultures on the scene. The Mules are helping them out. They might actually get a kill here on Gensay with this arm. Although Valkyrie's coming in to kill the Mutalisk. Mules are fighting back. Valkyrie's doing quite some damage. They're microing backwards there though. Vultures. Looks like the Zealots from Gensay were just enough to topple the fight on the bottom into their favor, and Force has to retreat back to the top side there because his Mulus took a lot of damage from the Valkyries and from the Dragoons. Loses a lot of them, but he makes his escape. He's now at 104 supply though. Force is big. He's big. And Hyuk is kind of small, but he built a lot of spores to protect his lair against the Mulus. He got 4 or 5 spores in the back. He's still very small with 30 drones at the moment, but he's getting bigger as we speak. And Lucky Back has recovered. He's still pretty much dead and gone. He's got 20 supply, of which 15 are probes. He's got pretty much nothing except a Dragoon and a Zealot in his base. Yeah, he is in a very bad shape. Hiya now 148 supply. M0ng is on 142. They're now getting control over this middle right section of the map, so that they can cut off these dropships from Hiya from having an effect on M0ng or on Gensay or anywhere on the map. At the same time, though, we can see that Gensay is going to move in to finish off Lucky Back. We got Mulus in the sky. We got Guardians morphing there to help out and clean this out, or maybe to help Lucky survive, but Lucky is as dead as can be. I think this is going to be a GG. If Lucky Back dies, I don't think Force and Hiya can win this game on their own. They played really well. Drop there comes in onto Force though, but kills the Templars, keeps his drones alive. Very well played there by Force. The vision there on the bottom side helped him spot the shield on time. They got Valkyries coming in there from M0ng. Valkyries are amazing against the Mutalisks. Yeah, Lucky Back is just dying. Lucky Back is done for. We got the Vars in the sky to fight back against the Valkyries, but the Mutalisks are not in great enough a number to fight here because they don't stand a chance. They don't stand a chance against this army of Dragoons in the sky. The Valkyries do go down. We have an army from Hiya slipping through into the middle to try and get control, while the units from M0ng here on the middle right. So he tries to get control of the middle to cut off M0ng's path into the middle to reinforce these units right here, in the case these units right here do die. But they are firing on Hiya's bottom side of his base, which is dying pretty quickly. But here's moving. He's trying to set up control on the high ground. This is his one chance to turn the tide. This one chance to still win the game. We got Mulus out from Hyuk as well. Hyuk is finally back in the match. Force going in, attacking the cannons. Tanks on the high ground have been secured. The high ground has been secured. I repeat, the high ground has been secured. We have dropships this time around. So no longer Valkyries, it's dropships from M0ng. He's gonna dropship some units into Gensay's base to try and help him protect his base to keep those enemy tanks away. Very strong fortified position. The zealots on the ground are clearing out the tanks. The mules are trying to do as much as they can, but their upgrades are simply not strong enough. They've got one carapace, no attack, and Hiya sees the writing on the wall, calls GG. He no longer believes he lost his army there on the middle, and yeah, Force played very well, but just could not do enough. I think going for a level 1 attack upgrade might have been a little bit better than the carapace, but the carapace does help him against the Valkyries, because Valkyries do not do a lot of damage with their regular attacks. Like, it's 6 damage. If you add a carapace upgrade there on the Mulist, it becomes 5 damage, and on the Vars it's 3 damage. Like, they've got 2 base armor plus 1 from the upgrade. And he was getting level 1 attack, but it came in just a little bit too late because he really was not doing as much damage as he should have or wanted to keep those tanks and Goliaths from Hiya alive. Also get 1-2 there on the tanks from M0ng. And can we find a tank from Hiya? Oh, right there. You can no longer see the upgrades because he left. When a player leaves, you can no longer see their upgrades. So I don't know what the upgrades for Hiya were, but Hiya played very, very well. He did a lot of damage all around the place, but in the end, it all came down to Lucky Back just being dead and gone. And when you're playing 2 versus 3 in a professional game like this, it's too damn difficult. You cannot make up for an ally that's gone and try to compete against 3 players who are of your level. Or better than you, maybe even better than you are. So yeah, this was a very well fought game, but in the end, we have Gensay, M0ng, and Hyuk coming out on top. And I think this is their first win this series, because in the previous series we had M0ng, Gensay, and Hyuk lose their respective game. See you next time. It was RGB from RGB TV, and I'm gonna sign out and hope to cast the next game a little bit sooner than I casted this game. It's a little bit too much time in between. Anyway, see you soon. I'm out.